In the early 1970s, there were court decisions giving states the responsibility to provide special education resources and school to students in need of it. The decisions that were made changed the special education history in our country. Currently, the state and local institutions provide 91% of special education funding, while federal funds take care of the remaining 9% when the state meets federal criteria. In the 1970s, changed many lives of special education students in history and special education, and the Rehabilitation Act of 1973 guarantees civil rights to all disabled people and require accommodations for disabled students in the schools. In 1975, the Education for All Handicapped Children Acts, EHA, guaranteed and enforced the rights of children with disabilities to receive a free, appropriate, free public school education. During reauthorization in 1977, the EH went under a number of revisions and became known as the Individuals with Disability Education Act, known as IDEA. IDEA emphasized the use of Individuals Education Plan, or IEP, for all special education students. IDEA initiated the use of Individualized Transition Plans, or ITPS, to better prepare students for success in their adult lives. The IDEA focused on providing the best research and most effective methods for special education teaching. In 2001 to 2004, the No Child Left Behind provided schools and added technology assistance and loan programs to help students acquire need for special education resources. IDEA was another act that was established in 1975. The Learning Disability Association, LDA, was instrumental in writing IDEA, and it went through many revisions when it began as the Education for All Handicapped Children Act, EHA. IDEA is updated every 5 years, and this gives the LDA a chance to see how the law in practice and what is needed to make it more effective. The parents advocated for their children back then because they were led to believe their children would not be able to lead meaningful lives. Parents recognized that their children were being denied services, and they advocated for their children, and that their children should have the same right as everyone else. Many students were excluded from the public schools because of their disability. One of the court cases I chose was Winkleman versus Paramount City School District. Jeff and Sandy Winkleman claimed Paramount City School District failed to give their disabled son Jacob a free, appropriate public school education as required by the IDEA. The Winkleman placed Jacob in a private school at their own expense. The district court ruled for the school district, and the Winkleman appealed the U.S. of Appeals, and they dismissed the suit because of not having a lawyer. The Winklemans argued, and they were able to get the proper education services for their son Jacob. Doe versus Withers. The plaintiffs John and Jane Doe argued that their child Dee Dee did not receive fair treatment from their child teacher Michael Withers. He was Dee Dee's high school history teacher, and even though Dee Dee was diagnosed with a learning disability, Mr. Withers refused to follow Dee Dee's IEP plan. John and Jane Doe sued the superintendent of Taylor County School Corporation and the principal and his teacher, and the Does felt their son was not afforded a free public school education, and this was the first case to be tried in front of a jury to seek monetary damages. In the end, Mr. Withers had to follow the IEP plan, and he did disobey orders, and he was ordered to pay $15,000 in damages. The Rehabilitation Act of 1973, the federal law that prohibits discrimination on the basis of a disability in programs or in employment by federal law agencies. The Public Law 94-142 guaranteed a free, appropriate public education to each child with a disability in every state across the country. The amendments that were done to the IEP process and RTI process on how to better service students with disabilities. The ADA, the Americans with Disability Act of 1990, is a civil rights law that prohibits discrimination based on disability. The No Child Left Behind Act of 2001 has education programs that are administered by states to close students' achievement gaps by providing all children with fair, equal, and significant to obtain a high quality of education. The IDEA resources are preschool to parent portal videos, special diets order form, and immunization for K through 12. Ohio State resources are Ohio Early Intervention Program, the Autism Scholarship, County Developmental Disabilities Program. The NLCD resource, National Center for Learning Disabilities, is 15 guided reading activities on water4.org, 70 activities to support kids with dyslexia, parenting pod, 5 focus exercises for ADHD, empowering parents, 6 ways to support your child's mathematical development is U Cubed, and resources for parents could be like Starfall, ABC Mouse, or Reading A through Z are very helpful, especially because I have a child that has autism. Thank you.